What's going on, y'all? It's Doggone John. I am coming to you from my camper. I have a new setup right now that I'm doing for this video, so enjoy the nice scenery of my camper. Anyway, a few disclaimers. I will be having an adult beverage, talk about knives, talk about life, and if you hear my cats in the background going crazy, that's typical. So we're just gonna try to ignore that and push through. All right. So, first things first, let's crack open this Snake River Brewing. So, here in Wyoming, there's a few breweries, and Snake River is a pretty good local one. So, I'm trying their. I'm not trying. I've had it before, but I'm drinking their Jenny Lake Lager. All right, nice little sip, maybe two. All right, so let's chat. Teener Tuesday, right? So today, for my most teenered up stuff, I've got a classic one here, the old GEC 47 Viper. You know how I feel about this one. It's a classic. Not only is it a classic, but it's also my first Great Eastern Cutlery knife. So you know how crazy I am about these things, and all the ones I've tracked down in the past 4 or 5 months. Um, So anyway, this is what started it all. I was on eBay and I'd seen a couple different knives I was into. I was looking for something traditional, and I wanted something that was going to be, fitting to my personality and something I never tried before. So this was my first Warncliffe and my first Great Eastern Cutlery together. I got slow down, old doggone, slow down. Anyway, I got a great deal on this thing. I think it was around $200 or something like that. And I got a slip with it and everything. And as you can tell, it's got the teeners. So you got some sunlight in here. I'm gonna try to capture it without getting my face up in there. There's some teener, just a little. Anyway, this video is not all about Teener Tuesday, even though I'll do these pretty much weekly for my man Michael Richter. Shout out Michael Richter. This here is just part of my daily carry today. Um, I gave her a fresh edge pretty recently, so it's pretty. It's okay. It could be better. I haven't really touched it up in probably a day if I'm actually being truthful. I used it today to actually cut up some like lawn bedding material. It was the only knife I had on me at the time, so this is what I used. Um, so anyway, I carried it. I carried it in my custom little jean jacket kind of denim slip here that I made up a long time ago. This is blue grid leather, really pliable, really awesome stuff. I love it as far as a pocket carry. It fits really, really well. Um, and it's just, it's breathable almost in a way. I threw that little black brass rivet in there, excuse me. And it's actually on backwards. If you look at it, there's the side that should be. This is the first one I tested it on. So anyway, this is where that was riding today. And if you notice, it pretty much all matches really well. You got the white and the blue bone, and then you got the brass. So you got the brass in there. And anyway, it all goes together pretty good if you ask me. But anyway, beside that, let's get on to the next one. This next one is pretty cool. So this is just an ordinary Swiss Army knife. Nothing spectacular or different really about it. I got this in a trade deal. I sold some sharpening supplies, or not sold, but traded some sharpening supplies for this one and a Alux, I think it was called, an Alox, which is a single blade. It has like a frag kind of pattern on the scales and stuff. So anyway, this one and that one came in it, and I've had a fascination, I should say, recently with the GEC 35 calf pin and just the one arm blade basically. I just think it's really cool. I know it's Case Razor also makes that, but for some reason I've had a fascination, and I don't. It's hard to find them on the secondary, and they're crazy. One guy the other day offered me one for like $500 or something like that. And I was like, yeah, nah, that ain't happening, bro. $400 to $500, I could go buy myself a brand new Sabenza with Magna Cut steel and all that jazz, full lifetime warranty. And you want me to spend that money on a little Listen, I love GEC, don't get me wrong, but it might as well be just like my bullnose, which I spent $180 on. It's the same deal. So anyway, I told him to go pound sand and kick rocks, and no, I didn't tell him that, but I just said it ain't happening. Back to my point here. I did a little modification today because I've had such a fascination with this. Maybe Doggone shouldn't have had a beer with this video, but it's also been a long day. Cut me a break. The sun out here will get to your head. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so let me demonstrate here. So it has a little nail nick for the main blade. So you can go ahead and grab the nail nick like so. However, I did a little modification to this. So as you can see, I went ahead and basically just ground in a nice little divot into the tip of this blade, took off what was there. It was basically like a little spear point kind of. But I just did a nice little ground job in there. This is nice and smooth. It's not sharp, just enough. And then it still has an edge on this side. And I made me a one arm out of my Swiss Army knife. It just, for some reason, this blade shape and stuff just kind of like gave me the idea. And I was like, I think it's doable. So I went ahead and took the grinder down there in the shop and kind of just went to town on it. And then I revised it and did it one more time for this. And I think it came out pretty good. So this makes my Swiss Army knife a pretty useful little tool if you do, want to just use one hand and you got your other hand busy or whatever you're doing. It's a great tool to have and just be able to clip it on your pocket. I'll demonstrate here if I can. I don't know if it'll show up on camera or not. Let's just try to show my pocket here real quick. So you basically just clip it on your pocket right there. Bam. And it's open. Let's try that one more time just for the sake of it. Bam. So that's basically how it goes down right there. It's a useful little modification. It doesn't impact the blade at all. It's just as strong, So anyway, I was fiddling around with the grinder, and that's what happens. But don't worry, I wore gloves, because it's probably not the safest or the smartest thing to be grinding on a slip joint. But I made sure I had all the angles. I promise. I really did. So anyway, there's my second carry. Something I've been ripping in the pocket quite often. And it gets me around my job as a maintenance feller, tightening stuff up when I need to. This obviously has a blade on it. This tool right here, for some reason, it's got a half stop. Of all things on this is the only tool that has a half stop. And it's like a little bottle opener slash flathead. So I don't know why they chose that one in particular to have the half stop, but I'm here for it. I'm all about the half stops. I guess because it's dangerous. That's why they usually put half stops in there, is because it's dangerous. I don't know. Anyway, so I use this quite a bit as my pry tool, basically. As you can tell, it's got a pretty good wedge to it. And as a flathead, of course, it works just as well. So it's been a handy little tool. I sent my Leatherman out because the same style tool that I had, I actually snapped it. I was prying on... See, I'm getting a little carbonated now. Let me fix that with some more carbonation real quick. Okay. So I was prying on this wall that's made out of old logs and basically half split logs and stuff like that. We were trying to set a door so it wasn't going to rub on it anymore. So I was trying to just pry it out, and then we were going to reset the log. But as soon as I went to pry just a hair, it snapped my Leatherman pry tool flathead right off. So that was a big bummer. Not real stoked on that one, but I sent it back to Leatherman for a warranty. So I'm just kind of waiting to hear back from them and see what they did for me, and I'll have it back in action eventually. But this thing here might be stealing all the pocket time, I'm telling you. Between the one arm blade now, see, you can't do it unless you actually put it on your jeans. Another weird quirk of it. You can use the nail nick, but to actually use the one arm feature just works best on your pocket of your pants or whatever. So anyway, let's move on. My last but not least, actually, I got one more thing. So my little vest pocket here. Sorry for tapping the microphone. You know what I always carry, my little notebook here, my field notes with the Heartland art edition on there. Just a sweet little illustration. I love it. Just it captures Americana basically. So, anyways, my little notebook. I got knife stuff and YouTube stuff and work stuff and personal stuff and just all the stuff pretty much written down in this notebook. But I got my old Parker Jotter here as well. Very, very nice pen. I've owned this since about the middle of winter. I grabbed one, and so it has such a sturdy click, man. I just listen to this in the microphone real quick. Pretty fire, right? Anyway, very solid click, very solid lockup, and I refilled the inside with a black cartridge. So I had blue in there. It's not that I had it; they actually put a blue one in there, and I hate blue and red ink. It's just not my deal. So put a black refill in here. Kept the blue one. So if I ever want it for some reason, it's there. But this has been another piece of my EDC gear pretty much. This is basically what this video is turned into, is one big pocket dump. Just ripping out all the stuff I got. So the Parker Jotter, though, has been a pretty solid pen. My buddy Bryson over at Motown EDC, he actually sent me a Big Idea design, I believe it is, twisty style pen, and the screw on the top that holds the clip basically stripped out. So that one went, and it's basically done. And then he also sent me a Fisher Space Pen, and I love the Fisher Space Pen a lot. I think that's a really, really sweet pen. It just the size of it, it's about that big overall as compared to the whole deal here. And you can just kind of tuck it. I got a shirt on here with a pocket on the arm, so I usually slip it in there, or it can go in your little watch pocket, whatever. It's a great size. That's what I'm trying to get to, and then you can make it bigger by adding the cap onto there. However, I ran out of the refill on that one, and no local place sells the refills, and there's no compatibility with other, what am I looking for here? Other vendors, basically. There's nobody else that sells them around me. So anyway, I'm SOL with my other pen. So my Parker Jotter's been back in my pocket, and it's got me on a kick with titanium. So I actually really, really love this. It's very sleek and just clean looking, and I love it. It's a very sweet pen. So this has been in my pocket with my notebook every day, which led me to another purchase. Well, a sell and a purchase, because I got rid of something else for it. But this is brand new right here. This here is a Berg Blades Iron Pup, it's called. So as you can see, she's full titanium. It is a liner lock. It's a what? No, it's a liner lock. What are you doing? Maybe I better have another sip just to be sure. Okay. It is a liner lock knife, as you can tell. This here is in 20 CV. So it's a steel I'm pretty much acquainted with overall, I should say. My Benchmade Barrage 581 is actually an auto, but the steel used in it is M390, and M390 is comparable to 20 CV. From what I'm understanding, I think a CPM Crucible makes the 20 CV, and M390 is made by Bowler, so I think it's German or Swedish company. So basically, this is just an American-made steel. I am honestly not super in touch, or haven't done a ton of research on the Berg blades. You can see their etch there. They have some pretty sweet little knives, and this thing here I got because it was just affordable titanium knife with some pretty quality steel. So like I said, I'm very acquainted with M390. I've used it and used it and used it tons on my Benchmade. I used it down by the river, tearing up weeds and just kind of slicing and dicing my way through whatever I needed to. The edges do get chippy on them, I will say that, so it kind of drives me a little bit crazy. However, that's only if you're really, really hard using it, which you should probably be using like a fixed blade anyway then. So it's a mid-tier steel. It doesn't cost a ton. It's very effective. It's easy to sharpen. I've got no complaints with 20 CV or M390 or CTS 204P. is the other one. They're all in the same wheelhouse. So anyway, this is my latest. I just got this literally today. It came in the mail. I was waiting on it a couple days, but I grabbed it off of Knife Swap on Reddit. Actually, I go on there if the Facebook isn't working for me or I can't find a good deal. I go on there and I always find something. So this was on there, and the guy won it in a raffle. I negotiated with him, so I grabbed her for 160. Actually profited on my other sell that I had done overall, and I got myself a nice TI knife, so I'm pretty happy with it. Look at them thumb studs on there. They're pretty dang pronounced and sweet. Even the jimping, I like the jimping on here. So it barely fits on the backside here. Your hand just grips it just about perfectly and gives your thumb just a place to lay perfectly for the jimping. So very, very clean design. The action is incredible. So as you can see, it's even drop shutty. Here's a reverse flick for you. A little kind of a Spidey flick. Bam. My cat is trying. You see this right now? Hey, get down. Anyway, come on now. You're gonna get me thrown off the YouTube for indecency. Anyway, so there is my latest and greatest little modern folder. She is probably only about, I would say, 3.5-inch blade. The grind on it is pretty interesting. I am not 100% familiar with it, but it's like kind of like a hollow grind, I guess you would say, and then it has this kind of swedge going on the top here. So as you can tell, it's a pretty thick old stocky knife in the blade itself, and the steel should hold up. I don't know how the geometry is going to hold up with a 20 CV. However, I'm going to test it and use it now that I've shown this on the old YouTube and shown the community my latest. But this thing's a tank, man. I mean, just look how over-engineered this thing is. It's a fat one. It's a fat one. The etch is pretty cool too. I don't know if I can capture it really well, but it's like a cleaver and 2B Subberg blades. The only thing I did research is the owner currently, I think he bought it from another person, organization, I don't know, but he's a firefighter in Arizona or something like that, I guess, like a wildland firefighter. So I guess he kind of just followed his passion and picked up knives or whatever, and now he owns the company. So I want to say it's an American-made knife. You know, overall the steel is it's a CPM 20 CV. I don't know about all the materials, but I'm mainly after USA-made blades anymore. So this was kind of an exception, but I'm not 100%. I'm gonna have to do my homework a little bit more. I probably should have before this video, right? But I'm pretty happy with it. It's very, it's fat and it's over-engineered, like I said. However, it's small. It's a small blade. I mean, let me just pull out the Viper next to it. If anybody has a Viper, it's pretty comparable. So we'll just hold those up together, as you can tell. So the blade itself isn't a huge thing. You know, the handles are wider than a typical knife, I guess you would say. But it slips down in the pocket really great. One nice thing I will say is the pocket clip is really nicely designed. It doesn't tear at your pocket. It's very smooth and rounded out. It's still heavy duty TI, so I'm really happy with that overall. I guess that this knife probably, actually, from what I've researched, it does retail quite a bit higher than what I grabbed it for. I think they're like a $300 knife overall. So I would say I got a steal for what it was. And I plan to hang on to it for a little while and kind of see what it does for me. Right now, I'm just obsessed with the action of it. Is great. The materials are awesome. I've always wanted a full titanium knife, and this is my first one ever owned. And yeah, so anyway, I think I rambled on quite enough here. I'll take a sip of my brewski here. This is turning into like a 20-minute video. So, yep, there's the cats. So it's about time to cut this off, I think. Anyway, so the latest drop in my carry, the knife and times of Doggone John, if you will, the latest. I didn't really get into talking about life too much, I guess, but I did get to talking about knives quite a bit, which mostly why y'all are here anyway, right? So anyway, I'm going to cut it off, shut her down. If you like this video, please like it down below. It only helps the channel grow and get out, more of the knife brotherhood to the rest of the YouTube world, basically. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the Viper, the Slip, the modified sack, the newest edition, the Berg Blades. Just let me know what you're thinking. What stood out to you? I know I said a lot of words, so I'm not going to blame you if you don't have to break it down, is what I'm saying. Anyway, share it with your friends. And last of all, please subscribe if you enjoyed this content. There'll be plenty more to come. And these kind of just show up. Can you stop it, guys? All right. Subscribe if you want to. The button's down somewhere over here, I think. Anyway, I'll see y'all later. This is Doggone signing out.